Carlos Sainz to Mercedes rumours have started to heat up again, and it seems like an official offer has been sent from the Silver Arrows now that Alonso has agreed to continue the collaboration with Honda. Obviously, with a lot on stake for both sides, it's inevitable that a clash of interests will happen, and as of now, Carlos Sainz's demands have already interfered with what Mercedes intended to offer, or has already offered on his table. But with little to no other competitive seats available, could Sainz succumb to the pressure and accept this role if he wants to remain at the top of his game? Or will he be forced to accept a project that was dubbed to be too long-term natured for him? Mercedes and Sainz have reportedly started to negotiate around a potential collaboration, but due to the nature of the situation they're currently placed in, it's inevitable that one side would have to give up a little bit more of the comfort they would have wanted to have in the first place. For example, the length of the contract has reportedly been the first obstacle that is yet to be tackled, with Mercedes willing to give Sainz the same option they would have given Lewis, a 1+1 year in which 2025 is a guaranteed one and 2026 will be hanging in the air. The smooth operator, however, wants a more secured future and won't accept anything below a 2+1 contract, which would be unequal to the terms that Russell is driving in Mercedes. Obviously, Sainz knows his worth and knows what he brings to the table. And while the overall teammate comparison with Leclerc goes heavily in the Monegasque's favour, the 2024 season has been quite a phenomenal bump in Sainz's reputation and worth on the market. With Alonso's latest signing with Aston Martin, there aren't many drivers that would put the upcoming cars from Mercedes on the podium apart from Sainz. So the Silver Arrows are also in a desperate need of a driver who would also provide them with a lot of experience in order to shift towards a 2026 regulation change in a smoother manner. But considering the fact that Sainz's time in Mercedes is already doomed to be temporary, with Kimi Antonelli eagerly waiting on the sidelines, the Spaniard wants to take out the maximum he can, and right now, anything below 3 years does seem like a no-go from his side. For example, Audi's entrance into the sport, that is bound to happen in 2026, will take them an additional 3 years to be competitive, and if they are still committed to having Sainz on the roster after his potential Mercedes deal ends, then it could be a great move for both sides. But that's only if Audi are willing to take Sainz after what would be a very rude refusal right now. Carlos Sainz has proven numerous times that he's quite an intelligent driver by making his own decisions on the track, which is exactly what's been done by Russell in 2022's Zandvoort GP, where he managed to pass his teammate and finish at a career-high P2 by opting to box under the safety car, giving him a tyre advantage over the rest of the grid. But if we are to look at the Red Bull-dominated era from 2022 onwards, Sainz has 3 race wins, whereas Russell has only 1 in cars that were more or less equal in the fight in the Constructors' Championship. So it's evident that this battle will be taken to another level if the deal between Mercedes and Sainz is bound to happen. Even when Hamilton made the shocking announcement that he's departing Mercedes for Ferrari, it was already logical to many F1 experts that a driver swap is on the horizon, and the only available competitive driver to sit in Mercedes, apart from Fernando Alonso, is Carlos Sainz. Regardless, Sainz would also be smart to wait out the Red Bull situation with Perez, but considering the fact that Norris and Alonso both had the chance to be Verstappen's teammate in the past couple of years and they've denied that opportunity, it goes to show that maybe signing to be the second driver on the best team on the grid is not what's written in the stars for Sainz either. Toto Wolff has been open about Kimi Antonelli, and there is zero doubt that he will be a Mercedes driver. The question that he needs to answer is whether he's going to make a bold move and promote him directly after 1 season in Formula 2, or let him gather some experience through practice sessions and ideally land him a seat in Williams. In the meantime, Sainz could see himself competing on an equal matter with Russell, who went on to say that he's not afraid of any teammate that Mercedes would bring because he set the bar quite high by having Hamilton sit next to him in the garage in the past couple of years. So there aren't many drivers who can top this achievement. And if we are to see where Russell currently is with Mercedes, it might be the smartest move from the Silver Arrows to mirror these actions on the young Italian driver as well. It's also a great situation for Williams because, although they are going to get a driver who will inevitably leave them after a couple of years, Antonelli will have a lot to prove on his shoulders and he'll be competing at the absolute maximum of his capacity, which would often result in Williams scoring a lot more points than they are now. When talking about his future recently, Carlos Sainz went on to say that there are still uncertainties and he's still to sign a contract with any team on the grid, but he's at peace with where he is because he knows his worth and he's proven it yet again in 2024. We're talking to pretty much everyone because that's what my management team and I should do if I don't have a job for next year yet. So we're talking to pretty much everyone. It's just about going into more detail and seeing the more realistic options and what the best options are for me and my future. Although I still don't have any news to say here to you. But Sainz must also think smart in this situation because the Aston Martin door has officially closed for him, and that also seemed like one of the best possible scenarios for the Spaniard apart from Mercedes. Of course, you can always hope that things will go wrong in Red Bull and Perez will remain without a seat from 2025 onwards. But as of now, the situation there has not changed, and although the Austrian team said that they will definitely look into Sainz's performance before they make a decision, Horner is adamant that the seat is Perez's to lose, and as long as he finishes second in the races, then he's doing everything that he must do to keep his F1 career alive. If the Mercedes move is not bound to happen, then Sainz will inevitably be forced to accept the project from Audi, which will begin in 2026. And in 2025, the smooth operator will drive in the back of the grid, given the fact that Sauber is one of the 3 teams that have not scored points yet in Formula 1, and their development path is not looking very promising. The next season will be more or less the same as the current one, and with the budget cap doing its thing, it's very unlikely that Sauber will do anything in order to improve in the Constructors' Championship. To top that off, Audi will also need around 3 years before they start fighting for the championship, and by that time Sainz would be 34 years old. So it's not like this is the best long-term investment for the smooth operator to make in the first place. And what's even more frightening is the fact that there are no guarantees Audi will fight for the championship after these 3 years either. So the situation is not looking the brightest for Sainz right now if he's not signing with Mercedes. Therefore, while it would definitely mean that he's on a counted time period with the Silver Arrows, as of now, it seems like the only logical solution for Sainz to challenge Red Bull and Ferrari for race wins is to join the Silver Arrows, with the first massive obstacle being beating his teammate, George Russell. The Brit has proven to be quite a tough nut to crack, and after the latest 2024 developments with the car, we've seen that Mercedes is willing to put a lot more trust and responsibility in his hands, which was massively affected by the fact that Hamilton decided to leave the team. That doesn't mean that Russell will automatically have this role if Sainz is to join Mercedes. He will have to prove himself again, because one thing that we do know about the smooth operator is that he's not giving up that easily. Not when he has a chance to win races and potentially fight for the championship, especially not after he's put under immense pressure to prove himself. And we mustn't forget that the 2026 regulations are right around the corner. And while Hamilton's move to Ferrari suggests that it could be the Maranello team who has the upper hand, the everlasting engine battle could slowly but surely move towards the Maranello team. Regardless, the new regulations will definitely prove that in order for you to win a championship or be in contention, you would have to have a great sense of driving and a lot of talent. So be that as it may, Sainz's illustrious talent and decision making could be put to the test with Mercedes and George Russell alongside with him. So with this in mind, do you think that this is a contract that must happen from 2025 onwards? And more importantly, who do you think would be the superior driver compared to Sainz and Russell in 2025? Let us know in the comments down below.